Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. As you can see, I got a little bit of work here, and this is going to be a pretty simple, easy job. Nothing very complicated, but it's something that I would like to share on video. Very simple machining, really. What we have is two brake rotors here, brake disc, and we have two axles. And this is out of Jeep. So what we've got to do is two things. We've got to bore this center hole so that it will fit this boss on the axles here. We'll bore that to fit this. And then we've also got to, this ID right here has got to fit over the flange of the axles here. So he wants me to take that off of the flange OD instead of taking it out of the brake rotor, because that could possibly weaken it some. Although it's not a whole lot. I've already done a measurement the other day whenever I picked it up, and it's somewhere around 70 thousandths, I believe. So we should be able to just machine that off the OD of the flange. It will not interfere with the back of the studs right here. There'll be plenty of metal there, and then they'll fit down in here. So we'll take some measurements. We'll go ahead and make use of our stair vernier calipers, and I got a mic there so we can mic the OD of the flanges here, and we'll also have to measure the register on the bottom side of the axle. So, and then this is going to be 4-jaw work too. Y'all know me, I like to use the 4-jaw. If you had a big enough 3-jaw chuck, you could chuck these on the outside and very easily bore that out. My 3-jaw chuck would not hold this, so that's why I'm going to use the 4-jaw anyway. And then after we do that, we'll go ahead and set up the axles, true them up, and turn the OD there, okay? So I'll reposition the camera and we'll do a little bit of measure, okay? All right, let's go ahead and get us a measurement and see where we're at. And we're going to use these stair verniers, 12-inch vernier caliper. These are the ones that I got from Gill in a trade. Very, very nice calipers to use. So I'm going to go ahead and get a measurement here and see what we got here. All right, 753, 3-inch, 753. So 3 3/4 is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and write that down. And both of these should be the same thing, really. We'll just do a quick one on that. Yeah. They measure the same anyway, 753. All right. I want to get a measurement on these here because we're going to machine the flange of the axle to fit down in here, and we need to give it a little bit of clearance so that it's not tight. So I'm thinking probably 10 thousandths, 10 or 15 thousandths should be adequate clearance to be able to fit that down. Fit them up onto the axle. And when you use these, you get it close, and you want to get that touch, that feel. You don't want to over tighten the screw. You just rock it a little bit back and forth until it feels like you're right on that center point and it's just touching. 6-inch, 5/46. 6.546. I'll write that down. All right, and then we'll do it here also. Go in with it some. On the vernier, you lock this one once you want to use your fine adjust. You lock this one here, that way it allows this part to slide. And you just start bringing her back. And you feel those contact points back and forth. Feels pretty good. All right, that one is 545. Okay, so 1/1000ths difference. 6.545. All right, now let's get the axles and measure them. All right, so I'll go ahead and get a measurement on the OD of the flange right here. .621, so that is 6 inch 621. And we're just going to do one of these for a video purpose right here. All right, I want to measure this because we're going to make our bore of the rotor fit this. Okay, so we're using a 4 to 5, so that's 4 inch 132. 4 inches 132. Write that down. All right, from there I could do my simple subtracting on my math, and we'll figure out what we need to do some more machine work, do the machine work too. So, all right, I need to get the small lathe set up. I think we'll use the Victor today. And get the forge all set up, get the machining. Well, I lied to you. I decided to go ahead and use the Monarch lathe since the forge all is already set up right here. Just made sense. A little bit bigger swing, so we'll just use it. All right, I've already got these turned around and set. Get those just a light snug there. All right, we'll go ahead and get it trued up. This is where we're going to do our machine work here. I'll pull you in closer. We'll use our little ID attachment, okay? All right, I'm going to use the Noga with my steer it dial and the ID attachment there. Get it leveled up. Okay, there we go. Pretty level on center. Loosen your highs, tighten your lows. Just the opposite of what I'm usually telling you. Get down to those few, and I'm just making minor adjustments on the jaws to try to get that last little bit out without over tightening. And we're down to 1/1000ths, half a thou. All right, just a little wiggle there. I think that's going to be close enough. So let's go ahead and pull this guy off. We'll go ahead and give us a check on the face right here. Look at that. Brand new rotor. All right, that's a thousandth. That's a thousandth. So we're within a thousandth, and that's going to be close enough. This is going to be a clearance bore right here. But that just goes to show, I don't think that's from my chucking, but I could be wrong. I think that's part of the workmanship in the manufacturing process there, I think. So let me get a bar set up and we'll start boring. All right, guys, we're ready to bore. I'm using my 1¼ Loris bar, using a 3/8 carbide tool bit, and we're ready to go. Just a reminder, we're at 3 3/4 right now, and we're going to take it to 4 1/8. So we've got right at 3/8 of an inch to come out of it. Come in here and set our 0. A little too far back in there, ain't it? Okay. Let's take 1/8 of an inch. This would be a 1/4 inch total. Give it a quick check, see about where we're at. Right on 4 inches. All right, we're gonna see. Going back to my notes here, and we measured them at 4.132. I want to give it, somewhere around 4 or 5 thousandths clearance. So we'll try to hit like 4.136. So we'll go ahead and take another 100, and then we'll back it off. Make some finishing passes there. All right. All right, 4 inch, 95 thousandths. Go ahead and speed her up now. Just trying to get the dust off the bore. All right, that was 20 thousandths. Alright, come on. Try it a little shorter in there. Alright. One. I'm getting 121. And what I want to do is just, I want to double check that again. $121. Okay. This is about 15 thousandths we need. Nice smooth finish. I slowed the feed rate down to 5 thousandths. Okay, let's see what we hit. Looks like 36 to me. Good to go. What I'll do, we'll try this before I take it out, see what it feels like. But what I want to go do is take that tool bit out, and we're going to use a chamfering tool. And we're going to come in here and we'll break these edges on each side. Yes, you can go on the other side there, but I always do all my boring on this side, and it's strictly out of habit. That's just how I've always done it. So putting tools on the other side and running in reverse is not familiar to me. So I know we've had some guys that comment on that, and nothing wrong with that. Just letting you know. All right, let me move this stuff out of the way, and we'll try an axle, okay? Go. So that'll work there. All right, and this one's done. So I'll remove this one here and just repeat it on the second one. I'll bring it back whenever we start on the axles, okay? All right, we're gonna go ahead and get set up to do the axles now. And I decided, instead of chucking them in the chuck and indicating, we're gonna go about this a little different way. And the reason why I'm going to do this is because it's a technique that I don't believe I've ever talked about or shown in a previous video on my channel. And I've actually had quite a bit of guys ask me. There was somebody recently that just asked me about what is a lathe dog and how do you use it. So that's what this is going to be about. We're going to use a lathe dog to turn the axles between centers. And that's what a lathe dog is for. Here's a lathe dog, and you have a couple different styles. This is considered like a bent leg lathe dog, and then you have some that are just straight also, okay? And the way that I normally use my lathe dogs is I have this set up to where I can use my chuck, and it's catching one of the jaws right here. Now some lathes, especially some of your older lathes, have a plate that goes on here with the slot machined in it that this lathe dog will go up in there, and you can do it that way too. A lot of lathes have a sleeve that goes up into your spindle here. It's a Morse taper normally, and then you can put a dead center in there. All right, so you stick that center in there, and you have your drive plate, or your dog plate as it's called, and then you can use it on that. But we're just going to use the forge awl because I don't like taking this thing off here. So this is one that I made many years ago. It's been used many times. Just a piece of cold rolled. You can use anything, it doesn't really matter. And then what you do is you chuck this up and you indicate it. So we're going to stick this in here. And then what I'll do is I'm going to indicate the center as close as I can. And you can usually indicate this thing and it'll be fine for the job. But what I want to do is go ahead and show you the proper technique to get this true. And that is by turning the compound around here on 30 degrees and using a tool bit and actually turning that true after you get it in there. So we're going to do that. All right, we get over here and we'll get this indicated, and we'll flip the compound around. All right, so you can see I'm quite a ways off. All right, that's 3 or 4 there. All right, so you know, you can get it close like this, and it'll usually do the job for you, just depending on what it is and how critical your dimensions are. All right, so we're just going to leave it right there, and we'll go ahead and we'll turn the compound around and get us a tool, and we'll true this up. Okay, let's see, I can't remember where the 0. All right, they're on both sides right there. So what we'll do is I'll actually read it off this side. All right, we'll start to make it easy. All right, there's 90 degrees there. So we'll go 10, 20. All right, it's 30 degrees. Snug them up, and we'll drop us a tool in there. We're just going to use a carbide insert tool, and then we'll use the compound to cut our angle here. All right, let's try that real quick and see if you can see what's going on here. Check my travel. All right, that'll work there. All right, I'm just going to come up and touch. Actually, looks like I'm actually a skosh low. Try that. Just making sure I got enough travel there. Alright, so just touch it off. Just going to feed in like 10 thousandths on the cross slide, and I'm going to use my compound to feed it. All right, there's the freshly cut center, and what I like to do is just hit it with a little bit of 220 like this, and that's just to kind of take any high spots or buzz off of it. All right, we'll just leave it like that, and we'll go ahead and start setting up for the axle. Now this is where it can get a little tricky sometimes, depending on how heavy the part is, but I think we can manage this. So first thing you want to do is make sure you slip your lathe dog on before you mount it. Make sure that it's pointing the right direction. All right, and we'll talk about this here in a minute, okay? I know that's a spline. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to gently stick the center on that end. I'm just going to try to hold this up and apply pressure that way. And go ahead and run my center in this end. Okay, just get my tailstock locked in. All right. So this is where we'll dog it off with the lathe dog, and let me bring the camera down here. Okay. I went with a slightly larger lathe dog than what I needed, and that was because I need to put a soft jaw in between this so that it doesn't mess up, the set screw doesn't mess up your spline, okay? This is the one I was talking about. This would have worked, but I couldn't fit any of my brass in there. It was so close. So I've got this piece of brass here that we're going to use. Okay, you want it to kick up against the jaw there. Let me make sure that's snug, and then you can see it's up against the jaw. Actually, I need to move that back just a little bit. It's right there on the end of the shaft. Okay, and we still got good contact there, so I'm gonna go ahead and just snug that up, and we should be good to go. All right, so whenever the chuck turns, it's pushing against this lathe dog here, which in turn is spinning the shaft. Okay, so now you've got a factory made axle. This is brand new, it's never been installed before. You got a brand new axle with a fresh center on each end, and it's being held that way, so you should be running absolutely true with everything. I've got it in gear. There's 319 RPM. It just looking at it, I can sit here and I can see that flange. It just looks as true as can be. And this center should be true with all those splines that were machined in there. So that's how we're going to turn it. And again, we don't have a whole lot to take off this. I believe it was around 70 or 75. I got to go do my math, and we'll come back and we'll start turning this. All right, we're going to go ahead and start turning. I did my math, and we need to remove 75 thousandths off the OD, plus additional for clearance. I'm going to say 5 to 10 thousandths clearance for the rotor. So we'll probably be taking between 80 and 85 thousandths off of it. All right, we'll go ahead and touch off and take us one cut and take us another after that. I will point out, you might see this right here. I've got it turned kind of the opposite the way that it usually is for right hand turning, and that's just because I don't have my center stuck out there very far. So it's easy when you're using a multi-fix. You just flip it around and drop your tool back in there. Ain't very rigid, is it? Trying to jump around on us. That stuff's probably pretty tough there. So, make sure I got the center tight. I'm gonna have to slow it down a little. Let's take us a little cleanup cut across there. They just don't like it, man. As long as I can get that chatter out, we'll be okay. Okay, I'm at 574. So we still got about 40 thousandths come off of it. I slowed it down again, trying to see if I can get away with that mounted like that. I can't put a steady rest in here because this area here is not running true. Yeah, I just don't like it. We're gonna have to come up with something. This is the kind of stuff that you run into every now and then. Something doesn't go exactly as planned, and my plan hasn't gone as I was wanting it to. What I've done is shown you, I wanted to incorporate using a lathe dog because I had a lot of requests for it. So I feel like I've shown you how to use a lathe dog in one way, to how to use a lathe dog here. So I'm trying to come up with a better way to finish these axles without getting this chattering down here. And one way you could do it is to run a steady rest in here, but this is not true in the center right here. So you would have to machine that true, which I'm not going to do. So I think the next best thing to do would be to take it out and go ahead and chuck on this end down here where the splines are, using the salt pads, these brass pads here, and indicating right behind the splines. I'm checking it right now, and this area right here is 1/1000 run out. So I think that's going to be plenty close enough for what I'm doing right here. We're just machining a little clearance on the OD of that. This will be running true with the center down there, so I think we'll be fine. So I want to take this out and get it chucked up and indicated and get this finished, all right? All right, guys, I rechucked it using my brass pads, my soft jaws, and we got it trued up. So I just mic'd it, and we've got 30 thousandths to come off. Let's try this again and see what kind of results we get. The chuck should give it more support. Take 10 thousandths. Oh yeah. That's much better. Yep, that cleaned it up good. And matter of fact, we'll go ahead and speed it up. All right, 552. So it'll be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We got 16 to come off. Last cut for the win. All right, there we go. That's 36. So let's change tools and we'll put us a chamfer on there. All right, we're going to use that tool right there to machine us a couple chamfers, and actually I'm going to have to swap it around just like I did the other one. Making sure y'all can see that. The last cut. Right. That looks good. All right, well, let's tell you what, we'll take this tool off and we'll go ahead and I'll grab a rotor and we'll test fit this one right here. There it is. I think I'm seeing another problem now, though. The axle looks like it's right there flush with the rotor. I guess we'll probably need to face a little bit of this off. I'll give Phil a call and talk to him and let him know what we got here. I'll take a measurement and see what we need to do. Yeah, this is sticking out just a little bit, like maybe 5/1000ths. It ain't much. So let me regroup here and we'll let you know. Hey guys, well, it's the next day. I called Phil, the customer that owns this stuff right here, and I told him about what was going on, what I just found, which was yesterday. And after sliding this on, finding out that the axle here sticks out just a little further than the rotor. So I asked him, and I took a picture of it and I sent it to him, and I asked him, do we need to go ahead and face that off? And he said that he doesn't think that's going to matter, but what he wants to do is just bring there's actually an adapter that's going to bolt on here. I don't know anything more than that. I don't know what they're adapting, but he said an adapter's going on here. This is some custom stuff that they're doing, by the way. So he doesn't know if that's necessary to face that off there because it may not hit it. So what he's going to do, he couldn't come today with it. He's actually going to be coming by tomorrow with the spacer, and he's going to bolt it on there, and we're going to see if we need to face this part of the axle off there and remove it so it's not sticking out any further. So I'll point out another thing that I did yesterday before I knocked off was inside here you've got a radius that's machined in that corner, a very small radius. So I put more chamfer here on the edge of the axle so that it will clear this radius in here. And I went ahead and took another 5 thousandths off because it was just too close to a fit. I don't think that's necessary on something like this. It's supposed to register on the axle here, not on the flange right there. So that'll allow us to the user to a little more easily put that on there, just like so. So all we got is one more. I got one more axle I'm going to chuck up and turn that OD, and then tomorrow I'll find out if we need to face any more of that axle there. And if we do, then I'll get a little bit of footage of chucking one of those up. My idea on that is to get this off. You see what I mean? It's us machinists, man, we like to make things tight. It's just getting it straight, really. This has got 5 thousandths clearance right there. So what I'll do if I've got to face this off, instead of hanging it out there like that, I'm going to slide it up in the spindle. I'm going to chuck it right behind the seal journal and then indicate it true, and then we'll face that off right there. So that's only if we need to. And again, I'll show you guys that if we have to do it. Other than that, that's going to be all for now. So that's going to be Give Me a Break.